Hello dear students, now we will be discussing the remaining topics of environmental chemistry and oxides of carbon that are responsible for pollution. Among them, the first one is carbon monoxide, carbon monoxide. It is a colorless, odorless. It is highly poisonous to living beings as it has the ability to block the delivery of oxygen to the organs and tissues. It is a deadly poisonous gas. It has the ability to block the delivery of oxygen to the organs as well as the tissues. How is this carbon monoxide released into the environment? Due to incomplete combustion of carbon, when there is no sufficient amount of oxygen, you see here. When oxygen deficiency is less, you will get carbon monoxide. You will get carbon monoxide. Mainly released into the air by automobile exhaust or the smoke coming from the automobiles. They are mainly released. Carbon monoxide is mainly released into the environment by automobile exhaust because many vehicles are poorly maintained and several have inadequate pollution control equipments, resulting in the release of greater amounts of carbon monoxide. Greater amounts of carbon monoxide. You see here, many vehicles are poorly maintained and several vehicles are inadequate pollution control equipments, resulting in the release of greater amounts of carbon monoxide. The main reason, mainly released into the air by automobile exhaust. Automobile exhaust. And you see here, this carbon monoxide is deadly poisonous because it combines with the hemoglobin. It combines with the hemoglobin, which is a respiratory pigment present in our blood, to form carboxyhemoglobin. To form what? Carboxyhemoglobin, which is a very stable compound, 300 times more stable than oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin. You know, oxygen combines with the hemoglobin of our blood and form oxyhemoglobin, and when it reaches the cells, it dissociates into oxygen and hemoglobin. This is how oxygen reaches the cells of our body. But carbon monoxide, when it combines with hemoglobin, it forms carboxyhemoglobin. It is a stable compound. It is a very stable, but oxyhemoglobin is an unstable compound. Unstable one. It is a very stable compound. You see here, I have shown this reaction by off-ended arrow marks. Oxygen plus hemoglobin gives rise to oxyhemoglobin. Similarly, oxyhemoglobin also dissociates to give what? Oxygen plus hemoglobin. So it is unstable one. But whereas this, when carbon monoxide combines with hemoglobin, it forms carboxyhemoglobin. It is very stable, 300 times more stable than oxyhemoglobin. That's why it is a highly poisonous to living beings of its inability of its ability to block the delivery of oxygen to the organs and tissues. Please remember here, it is a highly poisonous to living beings because of its ability to block the delivery of oxygen to the organs and tissues here, because it is forming a stable compound. Stable compound. And you see here, in blood, when the concentration of carboxyhemoglobin reaches 3 to 4%, when it reaches 3 to 4%, the oxygen carrying of blood is reduced. The oxygen carrying capacity of the blood is reduced. Thereby, what happens? When the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood is reduced, it results in headache, nervousness, weak eyesight, and cardiovascular disorder. That's why people are not advised to smoke. Why you are not advised to smoke? Why we are not advised to smoke, or why people are not advised to smoke? Because when oxygen carrying capacity of the blood is reduced, what happens? We suffer from headache, weak eyesight, nervousness and cardiovascular disorder. Generally when people smoke, due to incomplete combustion, carbon monoxide is formed. Carbon monoxide is formed, or when oxygen carrying capacity of the blood is reduced, when the carbon monoxide concentration reaches 3 to 4%, now what will happen? You will suffer from headache, weak eyesight, nervousness and cardiovascular disorder. That's why people are not advised to smoke. In pregnant women who are in the habit of smoking, results in premature birth of the young ones and spontaneous abortions and deformed babies. Deformed babies. Those are the evil effects of carbon monoxide or harmful effects of carbon monoxide. Please, it is released into the atmosphere by respiration. You know, in the process of respiration, glucose combines with oxygen to give carbon dioxide, water and energy. This energy is used for various activities in human beings and other organisms. This is how carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere by respiration. So this process is taking place in human beings, and by burning of fossil fuels like coal and petrol, it combines with oxygen to give carbon dioxide. And decomposition of limestone, calcium carbonate on heating, we are getting calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide is a gas. During volcanic eruptions also carbon dioxide gas is released into the atmosphere, and this carbon dioxide gas is confined to, very important, it is confined to troposphere. It is confined to troposphere, and it forms 0.03% by volume of the atmosphere. What is the percentage of carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere? 0.03. Nowadays there is an increase in the amount of carbon dioxide by various human activities and natural activities. And if you see here, excess of this is a 0.03. Excess of carbon dioxide in air is removed by green plants, and this maintains an appropriate level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. You see the importance of plants here. Excess of carbon dioxide in air is removed by green plants, and this is maintaining an appropriate amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That's why deforestation is not encouraged. Green plants require carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, and they in turn release or they emit oxygen into the atmosphere, thus maintaining delicate balance. You see, green plants, they require carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. That, as you very well know about this, plants prepare their own food material by a process called photosynthesis. For this process, carbon dioxide is very necessary. So these green plants absorb the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere and perform photosynthesis. They in turn release oxygen, thereby maintaining a delicate balance. And that's why deforestation and burning of fossil fuels increase the carbon dioxide level and disturb the balance in the atmosphere. That is the reason why deforestation should be encouraged and deforestation should be discouraged and afforestation should be encouraged. And the increased amount of carbon dioxide in the air is mainly responsible for global warming. Now we will be discussing global warming. Please take a screen. Global warming and greenhouse effect. You know, 75% of the solar energy reaching the earth is absorbed by the earth's surface, which increases its temperature. See here, 75% of the solar energy is absorbed by the earth's surface, thereby increasing its temperature. Some of the heat is trapped by gases such as carbon dioxide, ozone, chlorofluorocarbons and water vapor H2O present in the atmosphere. Thus, they are responsible or they add to the heating of the atmosphere. This causes global warming. They trap the heat. These gases trap the heat, thus they increase the average temperature of the Earth's surface. This causes what? Global warming. Before we go in detail, we should know this. We know that in cold places, flowers, vegetables and fruits, they are grown in glass covered areas called greenhouse. Very, very important. In cold places, and also we can see this in our areas also. Flowers, vegetables and fruits, they are grown in glass covered areas called greenhouse. We also live in greenhouse, but we are not surrounded by glass. We are not surrounded by glass, but by a blanket of air called the atmosphere. We are surrounded by a blanket of air called the atmosphere, which has kept the temperature on the earth constant for centuries. So we are also surrounded by a blanket of air called atmosphere, which has kept the temperature constant for centuries. As the glass in greenhouse holds it traps the sun's warmth inside. Atmosphere is also trapping the sun's heat near the Earth's surface and keeps it warm. The Earth's surface is warm because it is trapping the sun's heat. As the glass in greenhouse is trapping the sun's heat, atmosphere, which is surrounded by blanket of air, is also trapping heat, and this is called natural greenhouse effect because it maintains the temperature and makes the earth perfect for life. Imagine what is happening if there is no carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. If there is no carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, what is happening? The earth, I think some changes occur in the earth. So the blanket of air that is present in the atmosphere is trapping the heat and it is making a perfect life for survival. But nowadays what is happening? As you know, in greenhouse gases, solar radiations pass through the glass and heat the soil and plants. When the soil and plants get heated, they emit IR radiations or infrared radiations. Infrared radiations. And you know, glass is opaque. It partly reflects and absorbs infrared radiations. This is how energy of the sun is trapped in the greenhouse. Similarly, carbon dioxide also traps the heat and increase the average temperature of the Earth's surface and contributes to global warming. Please take a screen. Now we will continue the discussion of global warming and greenhouse effect. As this heat is trapped by the glass, similarly carbon dioxide molecules also, they trap the heat of sunlight, thereby increasing the average temperature of the Earth's surface and contributing to the global warming. If you see here, if the amount of carbon dioxide crosses the delicate proportion of 0.03%, if you cross this percentage 0.03, then the natural greenhouse balance may get disturbed. That's why carbon dioxide is the major contributor to global warming. There are so many contributors to global warming. One of major contributor is carbon dioxide. Please remember, which is the major contributor to global warming? Carbon dioxide, which is present in the troposphere. Apart from carbon dioxide, there is methane, CH4, water vapor, H2O, nitrous oxide, N2O, chlorofluorocarbons, ozone. What are the contributors for global warming? Please remember, even in competitive exams also they are asking, which of the following are contributors to global warming? One is carbon dioxide, one is methane, ozone, chlorofluorocarbons, water vapor, nitrous oxide. How is this methane released into the environment, CH4, when you burn the vegetation and vegetation is burnt, I mean plant life or something, or when it is digested or rotted in absence of oxygen. when plant bodies are buried in deeper layers, are rotted in absence of oxygen or digested. Methane is released into the atmosphere. Large amount of methane are released in paddy fields. Please remember, large amount of methane are released in paddy fields, coal mines, from rotting garbage dumps. Rotting garbage dumps. You see garbage dumps where it gets rotted, and by fossil fuels. Here, large amounts of methane are released in paddy fields, coal mines, and from rotting garbage dumps, and by fossil fuels. And chlorofluorocarbons damage ozone layer, and these chlorofluorocarbons are used in air conditioners. Nowadays, these chlorofluorocarbons are replaced by hydrofluorocarbons because of the damage caused by these chlorofluorocarbons. And nitrous oxide, N2O, occurs naturally in the environment. That is about the contributors of global warming. And due to excessive use of chemical fertilizers and fossil fuels, this carbon dioxide, others, methane, nitrous oxide, or water vapor, they are released into the atmosphere. As a result, what is happening? When the gases responsible for global warming increases, or their percentage is increased, what happens? Polar ice caps melt. More water reaches the sea. Sea level rises, and the low-lying areas will be submerged. Or it results in flooding of low-lying areas all over the earth. We are very much aware of that nowadays. We are very frequently we see in the news flooding. And increasing temperature increase the incidence of infectious diseases like dengue, malaria, yellow fever, and sleeping sickness. That's why deforestation should be discouraged. Afforestation should be encouraged. And switch on to alternate energy resources. That is how we prevent this global warming. We should plant more and more trees. So that is one of the best remedy, I think, to control this global warming. Now we will be discussing acid rains. Generally, you know, rainwater has a pH of 5.6. Due to the presence of H plus ions, you know, pH less than 7, it is there acidic. Due to the presence of H plus ions formed by the reaction of rainwater with carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere. We see here water, carbon dioxide, we get carbonic acid. What is the name of this compound? Carbonic acid. This dissociates, this carbonic acid dissociates to give what? H plus and bicarbonate. Due to the presence of these H plus ions, the pH of rainwater is 5.6. If the pH of rainwater drops below 5.6, now it is called acid rain. Acid rain. And you know, what are the major contributors of acid rain, or who are the major contributors to acid rain? They are nothing but oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur. Oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, which are acidic in nature, because sulfur is a non-metal, nitrogen is a non-metal. Oxides of non-metal are acidic. You already know from your previous class, that is in 10th class you have studied. They are blown by wind. They are carried away by wind along with solid particles in the atmosphere, and finally these oxides settle down on the ground as a dry deposit. They settle on the ground as a dry deposit, or water, fog and snow as wet deposits. Please see here. Oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, which are acidic in nature, they are carried away by wind, they are blown by wind, and finally settle on the ground or on the snow or water or on the fog. If they settle on the ground, you call it as a dry deposit. If they settle on the snow, fog or water, you call it as a wet deposit. Oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, they are released by the burning of fossil fuels like coal and petrol. And you know, this coal and petrol are usually extensively. They are used extensively in power plants, and you know, this petrol and diesel are used in automobiles. And burning of these fossil fuels, oxides of sulfur, that is sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, are released into the environment. You know, I already said sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, major contributors to acid rain. They are major contributors to what? Acid rain. And you see, sulfur dioxide further reacts with oxygen and water vapor to give sulfuric acid. This reaches the earth's surface. Nitrogen dioxide further reacts with oxygen and water vapor to give nitric acid. This reaction is catalyzed by particulate matter. Particulate matter present in the polluted atmosphere. This reaction is speed up. This reaction is made faster with the help of particulate matter present in the polluted atmosphere, thereby resulting in the formation of sulfuric acid and nitric acid. This acid rain is a threat to aquatic life, that is both plants and animals living in water. So when this acid rains reach the water, the pH of water decreases and the dry water, river water, becomes acidic and it is unfit for the growth, or it may kill both plants and animals. And it is harmful for agriculture because it washes away the essential nutrients it takes away the essential nutrients that are required for the growth of the plants. And very important one, it corrodes water pipes. Thereby causes leaching of heavy metals like iron, lead, copper into drinking water. These metals are added to drinking water, which is very harmful by the action of acid rain on water pipe. And finally, the beauty of Taj Mahal is getting destroyed due to acid rains. You see the reaction that is occurring with the limestone by which Taj Mahal is built. You see here, calcium carbonate. You know, Taj Mahal is made of calcium carbonate limestone. It reacts with sulfuric acid, that is acid rains, into calcium sulfate plus what? H2O plus CO2. Calcium sulfate is a powder. Calcium sulfate is what? Powder. That is how the beauty of Taj Mahal is getting destroyed. Please take a screenshot.